Welcome back to Duty's Daggers. We're doing a cut test on something pretty fun. This is a Reblade from Transparent Knives. So it's an AD20.5 Demco handle, but it's got a different blade on it, done by Brian at Transparent Knives. Yeah, very cool. I've always been kind of curious about how well his knives perform. I always assume they perform very well because he grinds them very nice and thin, which is awesome. But let's find out. The blade still here is MagnaCut, and he has hardened it to a 64.7 HRC. Nice and hard, you know. MagnaCut performs best at this HRC, at least for edge retention. If you're not familiar with Transparent Knives, basically he does reblades, mostly on Benchmade 940s and AD20.5s. So he does all kinds of different blade shapes, different opening mechanisms, different finishes, and he's really freaking good at it. So, and it's completely from scratch. It's not like he's modifying an AD20.5 blade. He takes out the stock blade and puts in a brand new one. So this thing's slicing like crazy. This is just regular thickness cardboard. And it's gliding. Absolutely gliding through. It's a very thin hollow grind, and behind the edge it's super, super thin too. Probably, excuse me, probably somewhere around 4 thousandths. Which is, yeah, that's crazy, crazy thin. It's about as thin as my Rask. Let's try it on this thick stuff, this thick cardboard. Yep, destroying. Yeah, this thing really is a cardboard destroyer. And I believe it's the same blade stock thickness as a regular 20.5. I would imagine the handle wouldn't work if he decided to go thinner or thicker. All right, what's next? Let's do some utility cutting. This is sort of a drop point harpoon sort of-ish blade shape. So you got to raise up your wrist a bit to get to the tip for utility cutting. But it's not too bad. You know, wouldn't grab this knife if you're cutting out 1,000 stencils or something. But, you know, for the day-to-day type stuff, it's just fine. Fairly nimble tip. That's what she said. Cecil rope. Wow. Yeah, so it's passing through the rope and embedding itself into the wood. That's how thin and sharp it is. Crazy, man. Yeah, it's biting through this Cecil rope really well. Super, super well. What's next? How about some rubber tubing? Knives with thick geometry have a really hard time with this because just the amount of friction. You know, the rubber kind of likes to grab the blade as it's trying to get through. But if you have nice and thin geometry, it's just much, much easier. It can pass through a lot easier. And this is doing pretty well. I've always wanted one of these Transparent Knives Reblades. Maybe one day I'll get one. You know, his 940 ones are pretty cool too. I very much dislike the Benchmade 940. I think it's one of the ugliest knives ever. It looks like a witch's finger. But when he replaces a blade with something much better, it really, I mean, it looks pretty freaking cool. God, the 940 sucks. I hate it so much. It's thick as hell, does not slice at all. Let's roll up this leather here. And yeah, once again, it's just getting stuck in the wood. So cool. Yeah, it's cutting through this cardboard like it's a freaking piece of celery. What else? Let's do some more. Yep, just nuts. It's pretty fun, actually. Cutting leather rolled up with a very sharp knife is so fun. Try it. Try it at home. All right, how about some 2-inch strap? This is heavy duty, pretty thick strap. This is not the greatest blade shape for it, and we don't really have very much length either, so we'll see how far we get. Surprisingly far, about 3/4 of the way through. With something with belly like this, you kind of end up slipping out of the cut before it can get through as much as it maybe could have. And obviously longer blade length makes it easier too, but yeah, wow, not bad at all. Pretty impressive, actually. What else? How about just a little zip tie real quick? Obviously, it's going to be no problem. All right, I think that's about it. Let's see how our edge has fared. Yeah, still cutting paper. A little bit of a snag somewhere, I think. But yeah, definitely cutting paper. Still feels pretty sharp. Let's see if it's shaving hair still. Sorry, I'm just a little OCD about picking up all this scraps before I continue. Okay. It is not shaving hair. But just to demonstrate that it's still a very sharp working edge, we'll do a little bit more cutting here. Still very, very sharp. So just because it won't glide through paper doesn't mean that it won't absolutely, destroy anything else you put it through. But let's give it a little strop and see if we can get it back to gliding through the paper. Also see how well it strops back. Some of these harder steels have trouble stropping back. Or it takes longer than maybe some others. Definitely feels very sharp. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Whew. I feel like that's even sharper than when we started. Jeez. So, yeah, strops back really nicely. Cuts extremely well. Good job, Brian. This thing really is nice. That's it. Thanks for watching. Check out Brian at Transparent Knives on Instagram. And that's it. Like the video before you head out, and I'll see you next time.